Well, Dave, welcome to the Smart Author podcast.
Thank you, Chris. Great to be here.
Man, we've had an incredible couple of days together. What a better place to be surrounded by a bunch of awesome humans and wisdom. So thank you for facilitating such an amazing event, man.
So welcome, man. And thank you for bringing I need to delete that word, incredible value with the book funnels. Like, that blew us away.
Yeah. I think one of the things that excited me most about yesterday was just seeing everyone kind of out of comfort zones and just like getting creative and having fun with the process. Even though, you know, we kind of threw a curveball at them with the technical side of things. But man, we just brought the energy before that with the, so if everyone that doesn't know, we did a massive creative shoot where we probably took 100 or 200 photos between everyone.
I worked it out. It was in excess of 500 pieces of content in less than an hour. Approximately 50 pieces per person, and there were 10 people.
That's insane. Like, one of the things that I struggle most with clients is actually getting them to take photos or creatives for ads. And so what we've done at Smart Author Media is we've created a bit of a machine around actually producing content for clients. So that's why we have so many ad templates and graphical templates. And even for your account, when we're running ads for your books, like, we just have heaps of different things that we're always working on so that we're not reliant on clients. So to just kind of like push that out of the way in an hour space and just like get it done for these guys, like there's no excuse now. You know, you've got content.
Exactly. I think that's something that's common among inspirational book writers, is a real creative flair. And you could see yesterday, we gave them the shot list, but then they were even going outside of that and making up their own things. And then someone would be like, oh, I see what Julie's done, and then I'm going to do that too.
Yep.
And so that was an absolute hoot.
Yeah. And they gave me some ideas for what I can do for clients as well, which is like, you know, I didn't necessarily come to the event expecting to learn from the attendees, but I certainly did in that respect. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So Dave, can you, like, a lot of people know how you've kind of come to where you are today, but I'd love to get a bit of a background. Like, how did you become a book coach in the first place? And you've been doing IBW for 10 years now.
Yep.
That's an incredible amount of time to be doing any kind of business, and most fail quite early on. So how did you get led to becoming a book coach in the first place?
Great question. I think honestly it was it was first seeded in my childhood experiences. Like, I actually grew up in 2 different locations that were war zones. And so as a kid, and I know that might sound quite heavy, and you know, it was, but what that led me to develop in myself as a child was a curiosity around, why are the people fighting? And I could never understand that. And that led me on the journey to read. And I found that the answers to my questions were in books. And so I started reading books like Why Is It So? Like 101 question and answers about the world. And it's like, why does fruit grow on trees? And so very early on, I discovered there are answers in books. Books can solve your problems. Books have the answers to the things you are curious about. So I was always a big reader, always did well in English in school and was writing. And when I was at school, I went to a very traditional school, and they were like, well, you're good with words, you'll be a lawyer. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I didn't know anything else. And I went and did that, but I got fully qualified, but I really could not exist in that environment of the law environment. It was far too box ticking. You know, I did like the justice part, but when I got into the system, I realized justice isn't served all of the time. And sometimes it takes often it's a long time for it to be served. And so when I left law, it was very much like, well, I have a big problem here because I don't have a career and I'm a young man and I have no direction. So what am I going to do? And then I went to books. And then books, I've read the top 15 books on finding your career and finding your passion. And that led me to coaching and some of Tony Robbins' work. And then I started coaching people to help them find their direction and purpose. And so 2011 through 2014, that was actually my business, was one-on-one personal coaching, helping people get aligned with their life's purpose. And then someone said to me, well, because I was asking, how do I grow this business? Because in law, the way to advance is stay more hours. But in business, someone said to me, well, the way you will grow is by having a book. And so I heard that on the Saturday, and the Monday morning I started writing the book. And by the Thursday, I'd written my first book.
Wow.
So first book done in 4 days on the first attempt. And then I was like, well, I have this business, I have clients. I can't wait 24, 36 months for this book to be out in the market by going down like a traditional route or whatever. I was like, I have to get this out. And plus, creatively, I was always on to the next thing, so it had to be fast. And so actually 6 weeks later, that first book was published.
Cool.
And that was the genesis for the system that is write your book in a week. And we take more time in the publishing now, but certainly for the people that want to go fast, we can go fast in publishing too. So that was kind of the journey. I wrote my first book, I launched it, and then people started going, I want you to teach me that. And they started waving their credit card at me.
They saw what you did. Yeah.
And that was the moment. I'd been wanting to bring people away on retreat. I just didn't know what we'd do on retreat. And then that was the moment where it was like, okay, we're going on retreat to write books.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So with your first book, did you have a system, or was it just like you figured it out? And because it seems hard to go from, I heard someone tell me that I should write a book, to then I just got it done in 4 days without any kind of connection of like, how do I actually structure and write the book?
There was a system from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I had what we call the book map, which I didn't call it that at the time. I just called it a plan on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And it set out the different things that I wanted to talk about and how I was going to group them together. And I think that's a really important thing for any first-time author, is to, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think initially I had 6 things that I wanted to talk about, and that first book ended up only having 5, because I condensed points 5 and 6 into one. But I think having a plan of like, these are the things that I'm going to speak about in the book. And then if you've got the plan on one page, you can literally just tick it off, cross it out, fill it in. And because that's one of the big things with first-time authors, is every idea under the sun is floating around, and that's when the overwhelm starts. So if you've got it on one page, it's visually in your command and in your control.
Yeah, yeah. And so do you have now a book with that plan?
Yes, yes.
And what is it?
Oh, well, the book that lays out the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that book's called Write, Publish, Launch.
Cool.
It's available through a Chris Benetti advertised funnel, also on Amazon.
And we'll put the link below as well.
But get it through the funnel. Yes.
Cool. Okay, sweet. So over the past 10 years, you've come from just like, I've written my own book and now I want to take people on retreats. Like I know that there's been a lot of involvement through that period, but can you highlight what some of that journey has been like for yourself, and even the amount of people you've been able to work with in that time span as well? For sure,
for sure. Well, the first iteration of the business was literally taking people to this house where we're recording right now. 4, maybe 5 people in a group, never more than 5. And we'd be here for the week. We'd feed them delicious organic food, and no one could leave the island until the books were written and the sweet potato was eaten. And mostly it was the latter that was more challenging. That was the model for the first 5 or 6 years of the business. Come to the retreat. Obviously, we do the book map first. We do the retreat. We write the book, and then the publishing would roll out once people went home.
Yeah.
And that was a great model. We did 20 events here. We did 1 event on the big island of Hawaii.
Cool.
We hired out this epic space where MTV had just filmed a dating show. Yep. It was like a palace. And
they completely trashed it.
They completely trashed that place. That's part of the story. And yeah, they almost didn't let me view it on an inspection day because they were doing the renos. But anyway, it was fixed by the time we got there. Amazing experience there. And then as 2019 started to roll on, the September, actually 2019 book retreat, we were meant to be here. And I had all these people saying yes, and I'd invoice them, and then they wouldn't pay. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is killing me. Like, this has happened 7 times in a row. We only need 4 people to fill the event, right? Like, and what I realized as that sort of 6th and 7th person didn't pay was that the model was evolving. And then I think also there was a bit of a premonition of what was to come in terms of like COVID.
2020, yep.
Yeah, and it was actually in November, December of 2019, we changed the model completely. We stopped doing retreats, and our process had always been write, publish, launch, but we split it out. We unbundled, as they say.
Yep.
And the writing component started to happen at a 7-day online book retreat, which we called the book writing intensive. And so that's what we've run with that model ever since. And so people now write the book with us, and then at the end of the week, hey, we've helped you to write your book. Do you want to continue with us to publish and launch?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a natural flow in that way. And I think that was a key evolution point for the model of the business.
And it's cool because, like, I think perceptually people always think that the writing part's the hardest. To actually offer that in isolation, to get them to have an awesome quick win with you within a week, the natural progression, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to go, oh, I've written a book with you. I'll figure out publishing and launching, you know.
Yeah.
They're going to go, oh, how do I work with Dave to get that done? So I just think that that's just such a killer 1-2 strategy as an offer setup.
Yeah. Yeah, we've always aimed to make it, thank you, we've always aimed to make it very natural, of just like, and I think it builds trust with people too, because the way we lay it out is like, would you like help with the book map? Yes, I would. Cool. Okay, we've got the book map. Now, would you like to roll with us and us help you write it? Yes.
Yeah.
And just that natural, like getting their permission, they're in, it's just felt a really nice way to do business.
Yeah, yeah. And with your business, we've been speaking about this a ton over the past couple of days. Has it always included levels of DIY, done with you, done for you services, and kind of encompassing all of that into one offer? Yeah,
it has. So we've, like the publish and launch is essentially a done for you publishing package and launch offer. However, if you really look at the component pieces, you'll see that there's some done for you, well, a lot of done for you, to be honest. There's editing, formatting, covers, uploads, all these pieces that happen with our team. Then there's some done with you pieces, which is like the coaching around the launch strategy, those sort of things. And then there's really only a couple of done do-it-yourself pieces. I mean, I don't even know if you could call them do-it-yourself, like people creating their own account, but with our guidance, or filling out a tax form, but with our guidance. You wouldn't even call that DIY, I don't think.
Honestly, I think with the level of service that you guys bring, it's like, it's pretty much all done with you.
I don't think there's any DIY in publish and launch.
I'd probably say, like, if you were to say that there were levels, you know, like the book funnel and that, the offer suite within the book funnel kind of is DIY stuff. It's just like they get a masterclass, they watch it, and then they can decide how they implement. If they want more help, they can reach out to the team. But primarily, like I'd say your higher end stuff is like done with you, done for you.
For sure, for sure. I'd agree.
Yeah. Cool, man. It's been incredible, like just seeing how you operate. It inspires me to operate with more of like a holistic, smile on my face attitude every day as well. So I've obviously shown up as much as I can for this mastermind, but just generally speaking, I can be a little bit like blunt sometimes when I'm working with,
that's
with
good
clients.
too.
So yeah, but it's cool to have the energy and just like want to show up in a better way, just because I'm surrounded by people like yourself. So
Yeah, cool.
thank you for being the person that you are in that regard.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, that's really nice to receive.
Yeah. So what's next for IBW and Dave Thompson and everyone else?
Yeah, beautiful. So this event why we're on the island this time is the Beyond the Book Mastermind. It's continuing to grow it out in terms of resources and step-by-step guides for our participants. And the whole idea of Beyond the Book is helping our authors to turn their book into business. I think that's a big part where you come in with the book funnels, is getting those books broadcast out to the world in a much bigger and better way. And that's really what we're about. So Beyond the Book is helping people share their message through a podcast, through book funnels, through workshops, through online courses, through creating a community or a movement.
Yeah.
So there's all these different avenues, and that's our big mission, is to, a lot of the people that we attract, they have a message that is really, really helpful to people. It solves people's problems. It takes people out of pain and suffering and puts them into a better life, a better business, a better relationship, better health. And I just know from my own experience and the experience of the authors that one word or one sentence in one book can really change someone's trajectory in life. So that's our greater mission. Overall, the big mission for the Beyond the Book is to continue growing it, bringing in more members. And actually that venue we were at the other day, I'm seeing like a rock concert on the final day on that back deck on the beach there as the sun goes down.
Yeah,
so
100%.
That's what I'm seeing.
The deck is the stage.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
Bit of a
for
mosh
sure.
pit and like flames and all this sort of thing. So yeah.
So it's fair to say that live events are back on for
live events are back
you guys?
on. Yeah. I mean, we probably won't do another one for a year now, but there is a fixture now, one live event on the calendar per year, and as things develop, we'll look to bring more.
Increase it, yeah. So will the writing intensive become an in-person event ever again?
It may.
Yeah.
I'm not ruling it out. We would need, it would obviously be at a very premium price point, because there's a lot of team and a lot of logistics that go into 7 days with just a few people in a spectacular location. So we may well do it again. We've talked about Fiji for book writing.
Nice.
I mean, I've traveled the world. I've scoped out a heap of locations where we could do it. I've looked at in Wanaka, in New Zealand.
Okay.
Lake Harvey, the lake that's 40 minutes north of Wanaka.
Okay.
That one. Whistler Blackcomb, I found, like in Whistler, on the lake in Whistler, I found a location there. And like I've got my locations around the world that are sort of ready to go.
Is it primarily like the tropical / just like with environment kind of locations that you prefer?
It could be, yeah. I'm not against cold mountain, like cabin snow.
Yeah. Okay.
There'd be a particular type of person. A lot of our authors are women. Not all of them like to be super freezing when they're writing a book. But if we had a group that loved the ruggedness of -5 and sleeping in a fire, then maybe that could work. I'll just share this. One thing I'm super excited about is the advent of even more augmented reality and virtual reality. In the sense of, when we do our in-person book writing, when we do our online book writing intensives and we have our check-ins at multiple times throughout the day, imagine me saying, okay, the 5 p.m. check-in tonight is happening at sunset on the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
And, by the way, the drones will be flying in your favorite drinks and snacks to your personal location, wherever you are in the world. And then the 9 p.m. check-in is happening in the Jenolan Caves, New South Wales, with the glowworms. And then the next morning we're sunset at, we're sunset over the water in Bora Bora, Tahiti.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for that. I know there's a lot of crazy stuff coming with AI and VR and all that. So always mindful of that. But yeah, I'm excited about a lot of things, including the new technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I love the whole full circle journey. You know, you're kind of really helping someone with creating the asset, and then what's next? How do we market the asset and actually get it out there? Because you and I both know that so many authors they'll do the thing, and then it's just like it sits on the shelf, or there's boxes of it in the garage or whatever. And without the resources and tools, you know, and the roadmap, people just get stuck with that kind of stuff, and it's overwhelming. And without people like myself and yourself, I'm here to kind of shortcut the barrier to entry. Yeah, you know, they're going to stay in a freezed position, and nothing's going to happen necessarily. And we saw that yesterday with the group building the book funnel, like not necessarily techie people. Yep. You know, some even had difficulties logging into the softwares. Yeah, Julie. but stuck with it, crossed the bridge. Yeah, yeah. You know, and like you were there to support so amazingly, and those the block of the details just seemed to dissolve in the presence of Chris Benetti. Like it was really awesome to see. And I was walking around because beforehand I was like, I'm not actually sure how this is going to go. Like I've never done this before. Maybe you have. I haven't. No. You haven't done it before. No. I was like, I know these guys can write a book in a week because I've seen every single one of them do it. Yeah. But can they build a book funnel page and build out a book funnel in like just a couple of hours? Yeah. And most of them got pretty much there. They're like 90% plus. Yeah. Done, which I thought was awesome. Yeah. And we're going to wrap up. Probably each person needs about 30 minutes and we'll like have it finished. Yeah. You know. It's so sensational. Mind blowing. Yeah. How it happened. Yeah. So it was incredible just to see them kind of come out of the shell and just like get it done, even though, and hopefully like my energy of just being like, oh, this isn't actually hard, guys. Like, you know, it's complex, but it's actually quite simple. Yeah. We just have to answer these questions, fill out this page, customize your colors, upload your images, and you know, like we're good to go. Exactly. A lot of it's just find the right button to press to toggle the setting. And half the battle is finding where the button is. But once you know where it is, it's like, oh, that can just change like that. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. It was really incredible. Well, Dave, where can people find out more about you and what you've got going on? So probably the best place is to go to the website, inspirationalbookwriters.com. Cool. Or find us on Facebook, Inspirational Book Writers. Or find me personally on Facebook and friend me up, Dave Thompson. Dave Thompson. Yeah. Amazing. Well, all of that will be linked up in the description below. Thank you for coming on the podcast, Dave. Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it, my friend. Awesome. Thanks, man. That was great. Yeah, for sure. Really appreciate it. Yeah. For sure. You too, man. Seriously, thanks for having me. Like, it's been such a fun journey and just like interacting with people, you know? That's awesome. And check. Photosynthesis. Hamburger. The tip of the teeth, the lips and the tongue. Dave Thompson, what a great book writer. Photosynthesis, and slowed right down. He's a wordsmith. Hamburger. That's hilarious. I don't know why that shit is funny to me, but oh, dude. Yeah.